The movie begins in an abandoned bus station in Ukraine, where a woman with the code name Red Star travels to a location. A man named Martin Baxter hides inside a bus and informs someone of the woman's arrival. Red Star meets two people in the car and passes the woman the details of a bank account. Martin quickly realizes that something is wrong, and suddenly, someone shoots Red Star and a shootout ensues. Martin starts fighting with the strangers, kills the first sniper, and then chases the other one, who is making off with Red Star's bag.
Red Star is down.
A chase ensues, and Martin manages to kill the stranger and retrieve the bag. He then returns to the woman to see if she is still alive, but discovers that she has been taken hostage by another man. The stranger demands the purse in exchange for the woman, and then shoots her as a threat. At that moment, Martin throws the bag at him and shoots him at the same time. All this is Martin's dream of an incident that happened 12 years ago in Ukraine during an MI6 mission. In the present, he wakes up in a car in London, waiting for his daughter Lisa. He habitually participates in cage fighting tournaments, and together with his daughter, begins to talk about betting. He gives his daughter a sum of money to bet on him, and the girl enters a building and makes the bet. As his father fights, the daughter watches worriedly and tries to suggest to him what to do. Martin takes a kick to the face and is about to lose consciousness, but decides to continue. Unfortunately, he takes a strong punch to the face and falls to the ground, crippled. The fight is stopped and Martin loses. After the fight, a man approaches Lisa and gives her the amount she won. Martin realizes that his daughter has been betting against him, and she justifies herself saying that she cannot concentrate lately. Later in the evening, Martin enjoys himself with a half-naked woman. Meanwhile, Lisa draws without suspecting anything. While Martin is having fun, he has visions of a woman who died in the past and begins to feel sick the next day. He teaches his daughter how to use a gun.
Are you focused?
She tells her father that she would like to continue living in this town and going to school. He tells her their lives constrict him from moving very often. However, the girl wants to think about her future and become a writer or painter. He disagrees and tells her that he will teach her everything she needs to survive, so she won't need anyone. One evening, Martin dresses for work and leaves her daughter at home. He works as a security guard in a club, but very often he cannot control himself and puts the nuts on the customers.
Sorry.
While checking people to enter the location, he meets a girl named Sasha, who he tells they need to talk about an affair. A little later, armed men sneak in. Martin sees Sasha's family and finds her familiar, so he approaches her to talk. The girl reveals she is from Ukraine and says her father knew Martin. Sasha reveals she is now a journalist like her father and wants to finish the mission he started. She asks for his help in retrieving certain files. At that moment, the gunmen attempt to shoot them, but he knocks her down to safety. Subsequently, he leads her out of the club as the gunmen chase them. He blindsides them and kills them. Sasha runs away without a word, and Martin returns home immediately. He takes a baseball bat and enters the house. He finds his daughter in bed, but when he enters the kitchen, he meets an old friend Trevor, along with an MI6 agent. Trevor begins to talk to him about the importance of finding the files Sasha told him about. However, he will not be able to do it alone because the Russians will be on his heels and sooner or later kill him. Lisa wakes up and enters the kitchen. Trevor mentions that if they find the files, they will be able to find out who killed Martin's wife, Lisa's mother. The girl is surprised, as she thought her mother died in a car accident. However, her mother died during the mission at the beginning of the movie. Lisa runs off to bed crying, and Trevor leaves, telling Martin to think it over.
This one will protect you.
Dad?
Otherwise, well... Lisa.
That's a better place.
Last time I saw you, was responsible for her mother's...
My mother was in an accident.
An accident? Trevor, you didn't tell her.
Please.
He tries to appease his daughter, but she is furious that he lied to her. Martin cannot sleep a wink, and the next day, he decides to join Trevor. As he prepares things, Lisa arrives and refuses to drag again. However, Martin says they have no choice.
You with you, just pack your stuff.
He goes to put the bag in the car, but a man hits him in the head from behind. He is taken to a room in front of a woman named Tatiana, who works for the Russians and the KGB. Tatiana tells him he has 24 hours to bring her the files and Sasha, or they will kill his daughter, who they have kidnapped.
Or life. You've got 20.
Martin is then driven home. The MI6 agent follows Martin into the car, but when the latter gets out, he threatens him with a gun to not follow him. Martin enters a bar and asks to speak with the owner. Max Martin asks him where to find Sasha, as he has discovered they work together. Max refuses to talk, but Martin threatens him with a gun and asks for his phone. Soon, a security guard arrives, but Martin kills him and also shoots Max. He then leaves the location, killing all the security guards who try to stop him. Meanwhile, Lisa and Tatiana watch a boxing match at the hotel. Thanks to Max's phone, Martin finds Sasha's location in a hotel. He states that he wants to help her find the files. Sasha reveals in her father's diary that the hidden files reveal information about building a chemical weapon. However, the files have been deposited in a bank vault, and she needs his help to find the access code.
I want those files public.
To avenge your father's death.
And all the others.
He travels to an abandoned building where a hacker secretly works for the CIA. Martin threatens him with a gun and orders him to open the case files from the Red Star mission 12 years ago.
Print it, everything. Come on. Yeah, it's coming.
The hacker prints photos in which Red Star is seen holding the yellow paper with the bank deposit code. Meanwhile, Sasha informs Martin that a group of armed men have entered the building. Martin orders the hacker to show him the emergency exit, but just then, Trevor and his men have arrived. Trevor tries to talk to Martin, but he has already left the room with the hacker.
Game over, man.
Soon, Martin is surprised by two of Trevor's henchmen, and a fight breaks out.
Jake's up, Martin.
After a while, Trevor and the other men arrive, but Martin pushes himself backwards, falling out the window along with the henchmen. He gets into Sasha's car, and the two drive off. Now that the CIA and MI6 are on their heels, they hide in an abandoned building. Martin attempts to dial the code, but realizes that the encryption has been changed. Soon, he sees Trevor and his men arrive. Initially, Martin surrenders, but then Sasha pretends to threaten to kill him. Suddenly, she puts a gun to his head and claims that she is the only one who has access to the bank depository and threatens to shoot herself if they do not let them go. Trevor orders his men to lower their weapons, and Martin escapes with Sasha. Later, Trevor learns from the hacker that Martin tried to steal the code, but failed. Meanwhile, Trevor's men continue to pursue Martin, but then lose sight of him. Later, Martin and Sasha are about to catch a plane. He steals a woman's passport to give it to Sasha, so the hacker will not be able to find them. However, Trevor refuses to give up and asks the hacker to show him the surveillance cameras of all the airports in the city.
Got a credit card, time to set a trap.
We've lost.
Sorry, I really wasn't looking what was going on. It's British.
Check all out. You just booked 2 tickets to Moscow.
Give me all the security camera.
Tatiana calls Martin and says she does not have much time left. He reveals to her that he is going with Sasha to Ukraine to retrieve the files and needs more time. A little later, Trevor learns that Martin's destination is Kiev. He orders the hacker to inform their men in Ukraine to keep an eye on Martin. As soon as Trevor and Sasha arrive in Kiev, they are immediately pursued by secret agents. Meanwhile, Lisa begins to talk more with Tatiana and discovers that her mother died in a shooting during a mission. The next day, Tatiana and Lisa take a flight to Kiev. Once they arrive at the hotel, Tatiana informs Martin of her arrival. Sasha and Martin get into a car, and a car starts chasing them. When they arrive at the bank, Sasha goes inside and says she wants to retrieve her belongings from the personal storage room. A woman brings Sasha to the storage room, and once she arrives, the girl calls Martin and guides him to get to her. Meanwhile, Trevor and his agents enter the bank. Martin knocks down the security guard and shoots the emergency alarm. Soon, Trevor enters the storage room and falls into the trap. Martin threatens him with a gun and tells him to put in the code because he knows he is onto him. After taking possession of the deposit, Martin and Sasha walk away, with Trevor as their hostage. Martin then hits him in the head and runs away with Sasha to the roof of the bank. They then get into the car and drive away, as the police chase them. Once they find a hiding place, Sasha steals Martin's gun and points it at him. She finds out Martin is working with the Russians, but he justifies himself, saying he wants to save his daughter. Sasha then shoots him in the shoulder and drives away. Martin loses consciousness, and when he wakes up, he sees Tatiana calling him. He says he has the files and Sasha, so Tatiana tells him to bring them tonight. Martin calls Trevor and asks for his help in finding Sasha's case and saving his daughter. Suddenly, Martin puts down the phone and goes to the company from which they rented the car. Once he discovers Sasha's location, he goes to a train station to find her. He finds her and begins to chase. She falls on her shoulders, and he chokes her into unconsciousness. He then puts her in the car and takes her home. In the evening, he goes to the meeting point with Tatiana. The woman frees Lisa and gives her the bracelet of her deceased daughter. Martin gives the keys to the apartment where Sasha is and the files. Suddenly, everything turns out to be a trap, and Sasha, who is hiding behind a car, kills one of Tatiana's henchmen. During the shooting, Tatiana shoots Martin in the stomach as he threatens to kill Sasha. Then Tatiana prepares to kill her as well, but Lisa takes her father's gun and shoots Tatiana in the head.
You stay here, right, sweetheart?
Dad, no, don't.
The fucking file!
Let her go!
Don't do it! Dad!
Привет.
Soon, Trevor and the other officers arrive. Sasha takes the case and jumps off the bridge, falling into the water. However, she was shot, and it is not clear if she is still alive.
Hey up, Sasha!
A few months later, we see Lisa visiting her father in prison. She lives with a new family, but routinely visits her father. She finds Trevor, gives him a couple of the files, and reveals the location of the case that was hidden. In return for this, she asks him to leave her and her father alone. Then we find out that Sasha actually survived and posted the files online. This caused mass protests in Russia, and Sasha was invited on a television program to speak about the importance of free speech. Martin and his daughter are about to close their small restaurant. Sasha arrives to visit them, but then we find out that a Russian agent is still on her heels.